PlayerUnknown'S Battlegrounds is finally out on console, and everybody and their mother seems to be making a video about it. And, well, I'm not above that either. I am no exception to this rule, as, well, here comes my take as to what PUBG is like on Xbox. Now, let me put a disclaimer out there. I do understand that this is an early access game. You're paying for what is essentially an unfinished puzzle that may never be finished. You're paying for the opportunity to play this game, but it may never get a full release. Now, with the popularity of this game, I don't foresee that happening, but that's really what you're paying for. It has a lot of problems. A lot of early access games do. Now, let me get right out there and say this. You can tell that this is a PC game, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I like playing games on my PC as well. My computer isn't beefy enough to really run this, so I can really basically just play World at War Custom Zombies, which I love doing, but you can tell it's a PC game that's been ported over to Xbox because there's a lot of issues with this. You don't really have the graphical power that a PC has, so the game doesn't really look as good as it would on other things. And if you have an original Xbox, the original Xbox One, you're going to have a lot of performance issues as opposed to if you have an Xbox One X. For instance, if you have an Xbox One X, you're going to play at 60 frames per second, and the quality is about medium if it was compared to PC. And if you have the original Xbox One, you're getting about very low settings and 30 FPS. And that's because the console isn't as powerful as, again, the X or a normal PC is. So it's got to kind of make some sacrifices in order to have the game actually run. Now, there isn't a ton of problems inherently wrong with this game, but there is a few that I do have listed here. So we're kind of going to go from the smaller ones to maybe the larger ones, in my eyes at least. You have a lot of quality and look problems, I guess you could say, when you load into like the main area before the game actually starts, like the pre-game, I guess, the warm-up. You're having those 100 people spawn in, and almost nothing is like textured in. Some people's faces don't even load in. The plane that's wrecked and the street you're standing on, it just looks like mush to me. Again, that's because I'm playing on an original Xbox One. I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. But it does look kind of weird because even when you're diving in sometimes, and sometimes when you even reach the ground when the game starts, it just looks like Play-Doh. Some stuff hasn't even spawned in at all. You'll have weapons floating on tables because the table hasn't even spawned yet. So you have a lot of problems that are coming just with the fact of this game can't really load everything as well as it would on a computer. Again, because you're playing on a console, it's got, these fixed stats, and you can't really upgrade that in any way. So the game does look weird at many times. Again, it doesn't look as good as it would on PC or an Xbox One X, but that doesn't really matter too much. I mean, looks are only part of a problem. Looks don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but there's a lot of problems in terms of things spawning in and those graphical issues. But like I said, it's really about gameplay. It doesn't matter about looks, so if everything spawns in, perfect. You have nothing to worry about in that aspect. Next thing is kind of the performance and lag area as well. I see a lot of problems with that as well. When you're in the warm-up area, and even when the game first starts and you first land, there's a lot of lag, there's a lot of rubber banding, and just a lot of issues that I've noticed when playing this game. I'll jump down and I'll walk forward a few feet. It just keeps bumping me back. I'll try to mantle over something, and it's just going to kind of keep pushing me back. I got to click the action button a few times just to even get in there to mantle over something. So there's a lot of performance and lag issues, which as the game gets further on, when a bunch of people are already dead, the storm circle's kind of coming in, and the map isn't, the full map isn't being used, the performance is going to fix itself. Once people are dying and, stuff's getting in order, you're not really going to have as many lag issues. Everything's going to be rendered in, so you're not going to really have problems with looks or performance as much. Rubber banding is still something that I see a lot, even when the game is further on. That might just be me, I don't know, but according to my friends and stuff, it's pretty relevant in this game, at least on console. It's something you see a lot. But like I said, as the game gets further on, the more people, the more time has gone by in the game, you're going to kind of fix those problems on its own. You're not going to have to worry about that. So maybe once 10, 15 people die, the game is then on balance of what it should be, so it'll be running properly, or at least well enough that you can play it. The last thing I kind of have a problem with is the aiming and the controls. Now, like I said, you can tell that this is a PC game, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but there's a lot of buttons that kind of overlap, you know, press this button to do this, but hold this button to do that. A lot of that thing, and the aiming is something that I think is very messed up. I don't know how it is on PC. Like I said, my computer can't run this game on its PC. I don't have high enough settings, or high enough specs, rather, so I don't know how aiming is on that. At least on console, the aiming is very weird, where if you hold the trigger down, you'll kind of just tighten up the spread a little bit. You know, it's not going to be as sporadic as it normally would, but if you click the trigger instead of holding it, it'll actually go ADS in first person. And I kind of have a lot of response issues with my controller in my game when I'm playing it. You know, when I'm in gunfights, sometimes I'll accidentally click the trigger as opposed to just holding it, so it'll put me in first person. And maybe it's just because I suck, but there's a lot of times where I get into gunfights and the buttons I'm clicking, it's not responding properly, this and that, and I end up dying because, I accidentally went first person instead of just going third person, this and that. I'm just messing up the controls, so you can tell that the controls are really kind of compact on a controller, whereas on a keyboard and mouse, it's going to be a little bit easier to access, which, again, I understand. It's a PC game. Not everything's going to go smoothly. Not everything's going to be perfect. So, again, I do understand that. It's just that even the people I've talked to, controls are a bit weird, aiming's a bit wonky, but once you get used to it, you can kind of learn to manage it, so it won't be that big of a problem. The biggest problems I do have with this game, again, are that lag and performance thing. When the game's starting and things look like Play-Doh, you can barely tell what anything is on the actual map when you're coming down, because you mark something on your map and you're like, well, where the hell is it? Everything just looks like a blurred green mess. So once that gets fixed and the game just gets further on, those performance issues are not a problem at all. It's really in the beginning of the game. And that's really the only problems I have with this. Like I said, I can tell it's a PC game, nothing wrong with that. I love playing PUBG. I'm not smashing it because this game sucks and I hate it. I thoroughly enjoy playing this game. I want to see it do well. I know it runs better on an Xbox One X, but a lot of people are still running the OG Xbox One, and you're going to run into a lot of these problems there. PUBG is an extremely fun game. I can't wait to be playing more of it and bringing some more content about it to my channel. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching this kind of organized mess video of PUBG, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheerio, mates!